You know that feeling? The one where technology is supposed to make everything easier, but you somehow have less time than ever before? Well, today we're going to dive into some really powerful ideas from Samuel Rollo that get right to the heart of that paradox. We're looking at the massive turning point we're all facing with tech, with power, and with what it even means to be human anymore.
I mean, that line just stops you in your tracks, doesn't it? For literally centuries, the big dream was that machines would free us from all the hard physical work. But as the source material points out, it feels like we've just traded one prison for another, and this new one is in our heads. Let's really dig into that.
So how on earth did we get here? It all starts with what you could call a broken promise. We're going to look at the huge gap between what technology was supposed to do for us and the anxious, stressed-out reality so many of us are living today.
And this, right here, lays it all out. On one hand, the promise, going all the way back to the Industrial Revolution, was so simple. Machines do the heavy lifting, we get more time to think, to create, to just be. But the reality? Well, you know it. Work just got faster. Our free time seemed to shrink. And while productivity went through the roof, our collective mental health kind of went through the floor.
Here's the core of the whole misunderstanding. For about 200 years, we've had this idea that progress just means faster. That's it. And this obsession with speed, with acceleration, has led us straight into a global culture of burnout. It's not a bug. It's a feature of how we've defined progress.
Which, of course, brings us to AI. It is so easy to paint AI as the next big bad guy in the story. But what if it's not the enemy at all? What if it's just a mirror, a giant, powerful mirror reflecting everything about us, our priorities, our values, our flaws? It's the grand finale of this 200-year-old obsession with speed.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. Let's look at the big picture, at the economic engine that has been running the world for the last century or so. Because that engine, well, it's starting to make some pretty scary noises. It's approaching a breaking point.
For the longest time, it seemed like we had the perfect system. It's a simple loop, really. Productivity creates stuff, which generates income for people. That income lets people buy stuff, consumption. And all that buying creates demand for, you guessed it, more productivity. It's a beautiful, self-sustaining cycle. Or it was. There's a catch.
The whole thing, the entire global economic model, is built on one single, absolutely critical assumption: that humans are the ones doing the work and getting paid for it. That's the central gear in the whole machine. So what happens when you start to pull that gear out?
And there it is, the multi-trillion-dollar question. If AI and automation can produce almost everything, and human jobs and human incomes start to vanish on a massive scale, who is left to buy anything? The whole engine just seizes up. It collapses.
This chart just says it all, doesn't it? We can use tech to make the economy grow, to push that GDP number higher and higher. But if the actual well-being of people is plummeting at the same time, what's the point? That growth is hollow. It's just a number on a screen with no real human foundation.
All right, let's zoom out even further, because this isn't just about money. It's completely redrawing the world map of power. All the major global players are looking at this AI revolution, and they are all placing very, very different bets on how to handle it.
You can really see the three main strategies playing out. In the US, it's all about innovation at any cost. Move fast, break things, but with a pretty high human cost. Then you have the East with these super intense growth models that can create some pretty fragile and high-pressure work cultures. And then there's Europe trying to lead with ethical rules, which is so important, but it might mean they move a bit slower.
So what this all means is that the great game between countries has totally changed. It's not about claiming territory anymore. The new race, the new competition, is for the things that power the digital world. Massive amounts of data, the energy to run it all, and the human talent that can build it.
And right in the middle of this huge, high-stakes global race, there's a massive danger. The source argues that we're so focused on winning, we might completely forget why we're even running the race. We risk losing track of what progress is even for.
And that brings us to the final and, honestly, the most important point. We've looked at the history, the economics, the global politics, but the real turning point, the real decision, isn't about the machines. It's about us.
I think this idea of human sustainability is just brilliant. We spend so much time, rightly, talking about sustaining the planet, but the challenge now has two parts. Yes, we absolutely have to decarbonize the planet, But we also have to decompress the human mind from this crushing, relentless pressure to just go faster. So what should be the real goal of our technology? It shouldn't just be about making things more efficient. The true aim has to be to use these tools to expand our consciousness, to help us understand more, not to just replace the messy, unpredictable, wonderful thing that is actual human experience. The ultimate promise of technology has to be to finally, genuinely free our time.
And not to then fill that newly free time with so much digital noise and busy work that it's completely drained of any purpose or meaning.
This quote just nails it. Chasing efficiency for its own sake with no moral compass, no conscience, it's just finding a more high-tech way to drive ourselves into the ground. It's a sophisticated path to our own burnout. So in the end, the future isn't going to be written by an AI. It's going to be written by us. It'll be shaped by the values, the ethics, the consciousness we bring to the table before a single line of code is ever written. And so we're left with this. This is the question that matters. Forget about the sci-fi fantasies of robot overlords. The real urgent question is about us. As we build this incredible new world, are we being careful enough to not accidentally engineer our own humanity right out of it? Will we even know what it means to be human on the other side? That's what we have to figure out.